Situation that seems to be prevailing in the Union Territory of Ladakh. Over 15 days, activist Sonam Wangchuk, who led a hunger strike in Ladakh, but it all came head-on Wednesday as the protest took a violent turn. Some unruly elements resorted to stone pelting and arson. Some even clashed with the police, and the police in turn fired tear gas shells and resorted to bait and charge to control the crowd. Amid the clash, the protesting youth set fire to the BJP office in Leh, reportedly torched a CRPF vehicle outside the party office. Let's get you a breaking update how the government responded. Now, the centre has responded to the violence that transpired in Ladakh and has now squarely blamed the activist Sonam Wangchuk for instigating the violence. The government claims that certain politically motivated individuals were not happy with the progress that has been made in talks with Ladakh's representatives, and they are constantly been trying to sabotage the dialogue process. Now, Times Now is the only channel on ground getting you this exclusive reports. Let's get connected with Sahil Sohail, who is joining us live right now. Sahil, looking at the pictures that are now coming in, as Times Now is the only channel that is reporting from the ground, if you can give us an area background check, how the situation right now is looking like. There were prohibitory orders that were put in place. And of course, when it comes to the blame game that is now ensued, with Sonam Wangchuk now himself making the appeal to the youngsters especially to not indulge in violence.
Well, yes, first of all, the administration in Union Territory of Ladakh, particularly in Leh, has imposed impact curfew. There's restricted movement of traffic on on all roads in Leh, and we're going to show you the extent of devastation that in fact these violent protests caused in Leh city. Now, this was the anti-riot vehicle of CRPF that was basically firstly targeted by the protesters. It was stopped. The protesters resorted to stone pelting, and then they proceeded to put it on fire. There were security forces personnel present inside the vehicle, but fortunately there was no loss of life, but some of them have suffered injuries, and this is the extent of devastation or damage that these violent protests caused in Leh city, which is otherwise a very, very peaceful region. At the same spot on my left, I would request my Vijay Shafiq to just pan to the left and show you the BJP headquarters basically that was targeted by the protesters. We had seen those images, protesters going inside the BJP headquarters, firstly targeting the furniture, throwing out with chairs and tables from the party headquarters, but then they basically put this building on fire. BJP has put out in fact the pictures of Congress councillor who is from Leh city, from representing Leh upper area, alleging and in fact blaming him for leading the protesters inside the BJP headquarters. We are showing you inside visuals of this BJP headquarters. You can see there were multiple cars that were parked and they were also put on fire. At the same time, the BJP headquarters, they were in fact there was stone pelting. Firstly, protesters targeted the building with stones, resorted to violence. Then this building was put on fire. There was massive violence actually that happened. Later on, those protesters basically moved to target Soul of Ladakh, Soul of Leh, which is the central secretariat. So these protesters basically turned violent after they visited the hunger strike venue of Sonam Wangchuk. Ministry of Home Affairs has also in fact came out with a statement saying that for Sonam Wangchuk, who was clearly responsible for the violence, he had basically made provocative statement, instigated youth for the violence, while Sonam Wangchuk in his defense has distanced himself from the violence. He has appealed you to in fact resort to peaceful means, but at the same breath he has said that the violence was the outcome of central government ignoring the demands and requests of Ladakh. But at the same time, Ministry of Home Affairs has come out with the details saying that the talks between Ladakh apex body and the Ministry of Home Affairs has already underway. There were multiple talks, in fact rounds happened, and next was scheduled for 6th of October. Ministry of Home Affairs were also planning to prepone those talks to 25th of September or 26th of September. So this all violence, basically Ministry of Home Affairs blames scarcely Sonam Wangchuk for the violence, while as BJP has blamed Congress party for damaging this BJP headquarter in Leh city, which is the central impact headquarter of Bharatiya Janata Party. Bharatiya Janata Party is ruling Leh region of Ladakh. The Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council is, in fact, the chief executive councillor is from BJP. They have majority in Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council. The elections for next council are going to be held, in fact, next year around. So the violence, the extent of violence is on your screen. These all vehicles have been put on fire. The building was itself put on fire. There's massive damage to this building. All the papers, all the infrastructure of Bharatiya Janata Party stands damaged in this
report that Sahil is getting for us live. Times Now being the only channel on ground to get you the first-hand updates. We are playing out both pictures before and after. What, when it comes to the deliberate instigation of violence, that seems to be the claim that has been made by the government, that certain politically motivated individuals were unhappy with the progress that was made in talks with Ladakh's representatives, and they have been constantly trying to sabotage the dialogue process. As Sahil continues to be with us, we also talk about exactly how the government has now been saying that the mob was incited by activist Sonam Wangchuk's remark, and then he broke his fast, leaving for his village amid violence without trying to control. Now, Ladakh's simmering demand for statehood has spiraled into violence that was witnessed on Wednesday. Let's take you through exactly when it comes to the allegations that have been leveled over several days of hunger strike that Wangchuk was sitting on. Now, squarely blaming that he was the one who instigated the violence. One of the charges being leveled that there were certain politically motivated individuals who were unhappy with the progress in talks that were taking place. Now, another charge says that they have been trying to sabotage the dialogue process. The government claims that Wangchuk was misleading the people via provocation, especially the youth, and provocative mentions of the Arab Spring-style protest was made by the said activist who was on a hunger strike. References that has also been made to the recent Gen Z protest that was witnessed in Nepal, and there is another charge saying that it was clear that the mob was instigated deliberately by the activist himself, and he left without making efforts to control the situation. Meanwhile, the BJP also released a footage of the violence to claim that there was a councillor of the Congress for Upper Leh ward, stands in. He was said to be the man who was instigating the violence. He, according to the BJP, is visible in those pictures. They have been alleging that he is the same man who can be seen instigating the youth for violent acts during the protest. Now, along with the Funsoga stands in, the BJP has also accused another Congress councillor, that is Norbu, for making statements about gherawing the BJP office. Remember, the BJP office was gutted in yesterday's violence. Now, the BJP claims that incidentally, just a day later, the BJP office that was set on fire, which was on the 24th of September, yesterday on Wednesday, when the violence broke out.
और आप देख सकते हैं कांग्रेस के काउंसलर स्टानजिंग सेपांग, ये है कांग्रेस के काउंसलर स्टानजिंग सेपांग, ये अपर लेह वार्ड से काउंसलर हैं, ये मेन इंस्टिगेटर हैं और अपने कार्यकर्ताओं के साथ ये किस प्रकार इंस्टिगेट कर रहे हैं, इसके कई फोटो सामने आए हैं। कांग्रेस पार्टी का जो षड्यंत्र है, किस प्रकार से भारत तेरे टुकड़े होंगे इंशा अल्लाह, यही कांग्रेस पार्टी का मुख्य लाइन है।
So clearly blaming the Congress party of instigating the violence. However, we had a word with the leader in question, who not only denied those allegations but also said that he was not present at the location at the first place when the clashes broke out.
तो अमित मालविया है बीजेपी के, उन्होंने ट्वीट किया है, तो उन्होंने आपकी पिक्चर लगाई है। वो कह रहे हैं वायलेंस में आप शामिल थे।
मैं उन पे डिफेमेशन का सूट लगाने वाला हूँ।
मगर पिक्चर में तो आप दिख रहे हैं उसमें।
नहीं है मेरा, आप इसी दिन का सीसीटीवी कहीं पे भी देख लीजिए, मेरे पास खुद एलिबाई भी है, मेरे पास सीसीटीवी फुटेज है, उसी टाइम पे मैं कहीं और मौजूद हूँ।
Well, Times Now will continue to report live from the location, the epicenter where the violence broke out in Ladakh. Let's shift